GCSE Maths, you're expected to know some of the exact trigonometry values. These usually come up on the non-calculator paper quite frequently across all exam boards. In this video, I'll show you a simple trick to quickly retrieve the values you need to know. First, we'll draw a large square root. Ensure it is big enough to fit two rows of numbers inside. Then we will, on the top of the square root, write down all the values we're expected to know. So these are 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees, and 90 degrees. Next, we will write down the two functions we are working with on the left of the square root, which are sin and cos, in this order. You also need to know the values for tan, but that follows a different rule, and I'll tell you more about that shortly. After that, on the inside of the square root, we will write the following numbers down: 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 for sin, and then we'll do the opposite for cos. You need to make sure the numbers are in the correct order and they're not all over the place, because presentation is key in this topic. Finally, we will put it all as a fraction of 2. This might look confusing at first, but will make more sense once you put it into practice. For tan values, you will have to memorize them unless you can come up with some kind of trick. Just know that tan 90 is undefined, and so the exam will never ask you to work with it in a non-calculator paper. Let's just try some exam questions. What would be the value of cos of 60? First, we'll draw our grid. Then we'll find where cos of 60 actually is, which is the number 1. Then we'll write down the square root of 1, because remember, both of these two rows of numbers, every number here is a square root. So the square root of 1, and everything is divided by 2. So it'll be the square root of 1 divided by 2. But this isn't in its simplest form. We can simplify this further. Because the square root of 1 is 1, we'll keep the 2 the same because we haven't yet divided the square root of 1 by 2. So we've simplified the square root of 1 to give us 1, and we've still got to divide by 2. So 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So therefore cos of 60 is 0.5. What would be the value of sin 45? Again, we draw our grid because we're not working with tan. For sin and cos, we use our grid. Once we've drawn the grid, we're going to find where sin of 45 actually is, and it's the number 2 this time. So we do the square root of 2, and remember, again, everything is divided by 2. This can't be simplified any further, so the final answer of sin 45 is the square root of 2 divided by 2. What would be the value of cos of 90? We'd draw our grid again, and then we'd find where the cos of 90 is, and this time it's the number 0. We'd do the square root of 0 divided by 2. We can simplify that further because the square root of 0 is 0. So then now we have the square root of, just 0 divided by 2. 0 divided by 2 is 0. So the value of cos of 90 is 0. Sometimes the questions might ask you to add, subtract, multiply, or divide the values. This time it's asking us work out what cos of 90 added to tan 45 is. First, we'll just find cos of 90, which is 0. And remember, we're expected to know our tan values. So let's just act as if I know what tan 45 is. Tan 45 is 1, and we're being asked to add them together. So we're simply just doing 0 added to 1, which gives us 1. So therefore, the value of cos of 90 added to tan 45 is the number 1. Just a final reminder, you need to memorize the exact tan values. I've put exam questions for this topic in the description along with its answers, because remember, the only way you can get good at maths is by doing it. I hope this helps.